Hello friends, welcome to Isoteak channel. Today we will be making a panel from Isoteak Artificial Teak using hot welding. This is the first instructional video in the series How to Make Professional Quality Parts. To manufacture the panels, we use the Isoteak Pro Deck triple plank, 15 centimeters wide, which is supplied in rolls of 10 or 20 meters. We will manufacture a sheet 300 centimeters long and 60 centimeters wide. Such sheets are often used for cutting panels to cover bathing platforms. Welcome to the Isoteak Pro Deck channel. We will need to cut 20 strips like these. The length of the strips should be 5 to 10 centimeters longer than the width of the panel. We will now place them under weight in a warm room so that they are flat. Let's see what tools we need. A ruler with clamps, glue from a box of materials, knives, and a heat gun with a set of nozzles. By the way, you can buy the necessary welding tools in our online store, Isoteak Shop. So, the strips for our 3-layer profile are ready, and we can start working. First, we need to securely fix the first plank and align it with a ruler. It is easier to do this on the edge of a table using clamps. But you can also use a heavy weight to fix it in place, such as car batteries or something similar. It is important that the first plank is securely fixed. The material is supplied complete with adhesive for joining profiles. This is a water-resistant instant adhesive. As you can see, the glue in the set has a thin nozzle that perfectly applies the glue to the profile lock. Let's take a look at the Isoteak Pro Deck profile lock. This is the upper part of the lock, and this is the bottom part of the lock, where you can see the groove for applying glue. Apply glue to the groove of the first plank's lock, controlling the flow of glue by gently pressing on the tube. Then, insert the second profile into the lock. You will see that excess glue may protrude onto the surface of the lock. It can be evaporated with a heat gun in the next step. Now let's look at the process of gluing the planks in real time without speeding up or slowing down the video. As you can see, the craftsman applies the adhesive so that it does not protrude onto the surface, and after attaching the plank, presses down on the upper part of the lock with his finger, ensuring that the profiles are initially fixed in place. But the final fixing happens afterwards when we use a heat gun to warm up the lock. The material becomes soft, and by pressing on the lock with our finger, we spread the glue and press the upper part of the lock firmly against the lower part, ensuring a secure connection. If you are working in cold conditions at temperatures below 20 degrees, you can warm up the profile locks before applying the adhesive. This will soften the profile and allow the adhesive to bond the slats more quickly and securely. At temperatures above 25 degrees, this is definitely not necessary. The heat gun mode for warming up the material is 350 degrees Celsius at high fan speed. Okay, let's see what the glued planks look like. It is sometimes worth checking the quality of the gluing of the planks by running your finger along the groove from below. So our panel is glued together, and as you can see, the last plank is straight along the ruler thanks to the fact that we fixed the starting plank. Now we need to turn the panel over. To do this, we roll it up into a large radius and turn it over onto its backside. Avoid bending the panel too much so as not to break the adhesive joints. This is especially important if you are working in a cold room. This is the welding cord of the Isoteak Pro Deck System. Its radius corresponds exactly to the radius of the welding groove. Well, let's cut all the welding cords right away. They can be made about 10% shorter than the length of the weld, as it stretches slightly during welding. Everything is ready for welding. We will replace the heating nozzle with a welding nozzle and set the heat gun to 480 degrees Celsius and the fan to medium speed. Begin welding. Be sure to use a heat-resistant glove, as you will need to hold the tip of the cord in place at the start of welding. Now we press down lightly on the nozzle and weld slowly and evenly. It is important not to rush, allowing the material to heat up sufficiently and the cord to reach its melting point. It is very important that the rear shank of the welding nozzle follows the welding groove. Otherwise, you will not be able to heat both grooves. Hold it as close to the material as possible, but without touching it. Let's enjoy the process. Well, this is roughly what the cord should look like after welding. During welding, we advise you to use protective masks of at least FFP3 class, as welding produces smoke, and it is better to protect your lungs. So, let's weld the last plank. Welding the entire panel took about 11 minutes. Now cut off all the tails of the welding cord with a knife. Now we need a 1/4 moon knife, like this. You can use a regular knife, but this special knife works much faster and better. It is very sharp, and thanks to its shape, cuts off all excess welding cord. This is what a perfect seam looks like. It takes practice to achieve this result, but you can do it. Don't be afraid to melt the material, because it's the underside, and it's better to weld a seam that isn't pretty but is reliable. All that remains is to trim the edges of the panel. And let's see what the welded seam looks like. As you can see, the cord has become one with the material, and the lock looks like a monolithic and sealed connection. And from the front of the panel, this seam is practically invisible. In addition, we would like to show you another life hack. The triple plank of the Isoteak Pro Deck System has special grooves for cutting the lock on each side of the profile. With this groove, we can cut off the lock at the edges of the panel without even using a ruler. Well, now our panel is completely ready. We can cut out the details from it using a template or roll it up for transport. Please note that we fold the panel with the front side inside the roll so as not to damage it during transport. Okay, that's all for today. I hope this video was helpful for you. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new how-to episodes. And see you next time!